Hi there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Right, okay, so another double bill, just a regular bog standard double bill. And I did this in November, but and as I said in one of my videos, I was probably going to watch a few more World War II films in November, because to me it's a very important month with having the Armistice Day, basically. So that's why I figured, you know, we got October for horror films, or you can watch horror films any time of the year, can't you? But I decided November is going to be World War II films for me. And I figured it was about time I took a second shot at a Christopher Nolan film, which I really did not like at all the first time I saw it. So what film is that? I'll show them both. Dunkirk, basically. So you've got this one from the 1950s and this one much more recently. Okay, so the 1950s one is a much longer film, and to me it gives you a little bit more of the backstory as to what's going on, and it's nice to see some of the retreat and what some of the soldiers went through, coming, you know, they've lost their battalion and everything and their regiment. They're just sort of finding a few people here and there, and there's a few scragglers left in the bushes and whatever, with their you know, cannons, guns, big guns, you know, shooting things, and they're still trying to defend their area, and you know they've got to until they run out of ammunition and all that sort of stuff. So they help other people along the way on their retreat. I love the scene in the cottage. I think that's, you know, a little bit of respite for them, and they manage to find some food. And then, you know, the next morning things go a bit strange. Not strange, but the chase is on, sort of thing. And they have to make some tough decisions and that sort of stuff. And then, you know, so it's actually a while before they get to the beach. But obviously a lot of the depictions that happen in this film on the beach are based in reality. And you know, one of the biggest things to come out of the Dunkirk story was, you know, where was the RAF? So, you know, you've got these Stuka bombers, dive bombers, dropping bombs and shooting up the helpless soldiers on the beach at Dunkirk, and yet, you know, there's no RAF defending them. Well, there was, and that's, you know, that's where this film comes in, or this is where I hoped this film would come in. I hoped this film, when I first saw the trailer, I hope Christopher Nolan's version of Dunkirk was going to rectify that and really explain. Now you're saying, Trev, yeah, but the RAF is in this film. Yeah, but that was a made up sequence. That was not reality. Most of this film is made up. The only thing is that was real was, yes, there were 400,000 men, including French soldiers, on the beach at Dunkirk. And a lot of little ships and boats and things came from the UK to help get those soldiers off the beach. But you know, most of what you see is just, to me, a bit sort of artsy-fartsy. And, you know, clever filmmaking, but basically he's got a 45-minute story and he split it up into various different segments, and it all culminates on sort of the final thing. And yes, the music keeps ramping up, and then it goes quiet again as you start another sequence, and then it ramps up again, and then and no, Christopher Nolan, that's not how you make a film, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, the picture's lovely. I may still get the 4K. I did actually enjoy it slightly more this time round than my first viewing, partly because I got it on my big screen. And of course, when the IMAX sequence come up, although it's not the sort of IMAX, because it's the wrong aspect ratio, filling the 16:9 frame does look impressive. But like I said, there's characters in here that really annoyed me. Cillian Murphy's character, I kind of, I get how we come across him at the start, where they find him sat on the hull of this upside down boat, the ship. But then when we see a flashback and we see that actually he's just a cowardly officer kind of thing, and yes, there would have been people like that, and I don't know, maybe that was based on a reality, but it does say at the end of the credits, most of this is fictional. So if you really want to know what the Dunkirk experience for the soldiers was like, watch this one. This sort of represents it, but in an artsy-fartsy, pointless way. To me, this is a waste of the budget that was used. Yes, a director has his right to do whatever he wants and make the kind of film he wants. But when you pick a subject matter like this and you're trying to educate a new audience, which it's kind of done, I commend it for that. Today's generation have seen this now and gone, wow, what an amazing film. It was clearly received well, but it didn't really explain where the RAF were properly, because they weren't really out at sea. They were behind enemy lines, stopping the planes from leaving the airfields and that kind of stuff, or they were too high in the sky to be seen. So that was the main answer for the question, where was the RAF? And at the end, once they come off the ship and the blind man serving them, and one of the soldiers works out why he's not paying any attention to them, but then the other one doesn't quite understand, and then just thinks they're being ignored, that they're cowards, and that's quite poignant. I get that. That's quite a good thing. But then they see the pilot that was pulled out of his Spitfire, where he'd splashed into the ocean, and they say, oh, where were you? And that to me just sort of wound me up even more. They still could have had that, but they could have shown us, the audience, what was going on with the RAF, so we understood why. But for decades, the army did not like the RAF because of that very reason. Where were they? And it wasn't until some documentary I saw a couple of years ago that they explained, and they showed us, and they talked to some RAF pilots that were helping at Dunkirk, and they explained where they were. So there you go, rant over. Yes, brilliant film, artsy fartsy, well made but don't like it film. And to me this is Hans Zimmer's worst score, and I know what he was aiming for. I know what is Christopher Nolan wanted, but I can't stand it. I don't like it. And yeah, just a load of twaddle, really, to be honest. If you guys like it, brilliant, enjoy it. Don't let me put you off. But if you really want to know, either read the book, look up online, or watch this film. There you go. Been wanting to do that for a while, and just not really been in the mood to see Nolan's film again. But the other night I was, so there we go. Anyway, give us a thumbs up. This is what this channel is all about: double bill movies, originals and remakes. So many films you don't realise that there's an original of. Tell me in the comments, how many of you have seen this but did not know this film existed? And are you going to watch it? Yes, let me know in the comments below, and we'll have a bit of a discussion. So anyway, till the next episode of whatever it is I do, take it easy.